Lights, camera, action. Welcome to the Scrapbook Podcast, Director's Cut.
Welcome back to the Scrapbook Director's Cut edition. This is your boy Patrick Wigfall with my co-host.
What's up, nigga? No, I just did that to piss you off.
Hate this nigga, dog.
I just did that to make you upset.
So we're gonna end this episode pretty early today.
Oh man.
All right, so it's Patrick's turn today, and I got a loose idea that we are gonna flesh out of right now. All right, so the story is gonna be set, I want to say, about 1870s, 1880s. We're gonna be in the far west of the America, of the United States one. None of the other Americas. We're not doing Canada. We're not doing South America or Central.
Especially not South America.
All right. Anyways, so this is about
Arizona.
This is about a sheriff and or deputy that is in a town that is being ransacked, like religiously by bandits and just no do-gooders. You know what I mean? People are having a hard time keeping their cattle because people are stealing their cattle. Everything's just fucked up in this town. I'm assuming, and this is an assumption, that the sheriff, the head lawman, is killed by these marauders, and so the deputy takes it upon himself because he sees them coming across a ridge in the distance. They come at night. It's not the same time at night, but they come at night. They never come in the day because it's too easy to see them because the land is flat. They're basically in a bowl as far as valleys go. It'd be like being in Sac and somebody comes from El Dorado Hills. You know what I mean? Like, once you hit power and I'm going to see you. Mm. But you do it at nighttime, though, you can make it all the way to, damn near where I'm at. Yeah. So they're always coming at night, and he's lost the town's respect. The town is leaving. It's becoming a ghost town. And the only people staying there are people that believe in him. And so he's having to prove himself to them and to prove that the sheriff that got didn't leave, the kingdom to a fucking ass, like a dumbass. And so he thinks, let me post up outside the city and right on the edge of the city and wait for them to come and be in a position, get the high ground, be there with the rifle on my belly and be ready to fuck these guys up. So he goes out to the first night. It's a no-show. Go out there the second night, a no-show. Third night, he gets action, but it's action that never makes it there. So he's watching, and he's not sleeping at this point. He's getting 2 or 3 hours when the sun breaks because he knows that's when he has time to take a nap, but also, sun exposure. I've been out here all damn night. You feel me? I can't just be out here all the time, 24/7.
True.
And so he's out there. He's got his horse in the cut, kind of covered. And he's just posted out there, and the reality that time is pressing becomes compounded as the story goes on. He's realizing that I have to figure this out, or tomorrow or the next day, even the people that support me won't be here. And then I'm just sitting out here for no fucking reason. And he's seeing, over the ridge, he's seeing fires because they come and they fuck shit up with fire. And so he's seeing these people come across the ridge. He's like, all right, cool. And then they go into because it's like little baby hills. So they go into the bottom of a hill, and he's waiting for them to come up, and they never come up. And so he starts to think that, like, am I going crazy sitting out here waiting for this shit to happen? And he's like, I can hear the fucking horses, though. I can hear them. And so he makes it a point, and the next morning, once the sun hits, to go look for tracks. And he goes and looks for tracks, and he finds them. He finds a crazy amount of tracks, and he's like, how the fuck are these horse tracks here if nobody's been over this ridge in more than half a month? Nobody left this direction because they're all coming from a certain point. So if they're coming from the north, everybody's leaving through the south. So it's not going to be foreign travelers, and they are robbers as well. So they're catching people slipping going north. So there's no real way to, like, escape that way without going into more trouble. I would say, and this is probably where the reins lift up, is that he starts like losing things. In his little naps in the morning, he's waking up and losing things, but it's more of like, and I know this for sure from like having kids. You wake up in a half awake state and you do things and then you don't remember it when you wake up. I have changed diapers and woke up on top of a diaper. And be like, why is my gut wet? And it was just because like I wasn't completely awake. And the second that little nigga went back down, I went back down. So it's the same shit for him, but he feels he has not only his duty, but his reputation, the sheriff's reputation, and keeping this town alive. Because this is a struggling town as is. And so now you've ran out 60% of the people. We're going to go through a recession. We're probably going to lose this town. It's going to turn into a ghost town. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to move in and take it. So maybe stubbornness is what keeps him there. Because he's like, even if they leave, they're not going to gain this town as a fucking post to be fucking vagrants and delinquents. But yeah, maybe shit goes missing. And I want to add in somebody else. I don't want it to be corny, so I don't want it to be a woman. But maybe even if it could be like a religious figure rolling through town just trying to get past. And he got past, and the whole get up is this nigga real or not? Am I talking to somebody or am I talking to myself? Kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty much all I got is him not going crazy, because we don't know that. We don't know if this person is real. We don't know if these people are just trying to bait him into looking at a certain area and then flank him from a different area.
Right.
Or if they're stealing from the town while he's 2 miles out. So that's what I got.
Okay, so I wrote some questions down.
Okay.
Why not make him a marshal?
Okay.
Or why wouldn't he just get more help than himself?
Well, I would say that trip to go get more is I have to go do it my physical self, and they're coming every night. They're coming 2 or 3 times a week, and he's like, it's probably a few-day trip. This is the far west, mm-hmm. And this is one of those dwindling cities where people are going around it now because of its reputation. Mm-hmm. And so you know how death happens, like it slowly creeps to other cities, and people go less and less to those areas. You know, you could have one bad street in an area, and it'll fuck up that whole little portion of town.
Right.
So that's what I'm thinking, is that he's having to go further away to get to a lawman, not another person, but somebody willing to stand up with him. And maybe that's what the dude that shows up that he's talking to. Not like he's a marshal, because I do want him to be religious, just to like kind of steer him towards a certain way mm-hmm. of thinking. Because religious people will like lose a whole family, but like it's God's plan.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's like, when you unload that burden of thinking about what the fuck happened, you might see a little bit more clearly, mm-hmm. or you might not take that situation as seriously as you should.
Right.
17 people died. The women are missing. All the men are here. So we know what they're doing with the women. And he's just like, that's God's plan. Right. Some people would be infuriated by hearing that and be like, "What? Why would he do that?" And
so whose narrative is this?
It's all backing, as far as the story goes, the deputy who's going out there at night waiting for them.
But that's his narrative.
Yeah, his narrative is that. His narrative is like
the God's plan thing.
No. The God's plan, I believe, is the guy who rode into town from the north.
Okay.
And he doesn't have to be a priest, but I want him to be religious just for that easy out of being like, it was God's plan. And he's just like, this is God's plan to kill a whole city. To kill my family members, to run out and shoot people in the face and steal children. That's God's plan. And it's not even like a deep religious thing. It's more of like in those moments where he's like, why are we still here? And he's like, because they're coming to kill. And he's like, there's nobody left in town. What are we doing this for? And he's like, because those lives mattered. He's like, that's God's plan. He's like, that's God's plan. Like that's where I've always had my arguments with Christians is when they're like, it was God's plan. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but it's making me lean left now.
Oh, but they're not trying to persuade you. They're just telling you.
I know, but that's how I feel.
Okay.
So like that's
so
like,
why
I know
not,
it's not right. I know I'm stupid. I know it's not doesn't make sense.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense or not, but it's just like just a misunderstanding of what you guys are saying to each other. Why not just? So what would you think would be the resolution to this?
The resolution is that the resolution or the end.
But it's both. It's the same thing.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be. He could see something or do something that, to him is good and to everybody else.
I mean, then that's the resolution to it.
What if he finds the, what if like over time, now I'm thinking, but what about over time, like over a day or so, he starts to creep deeper and further away from the city? Because he's like, they were just on that hill yesterday. They're scooping around and staying right there. They're trying to get closer to me without me noticing. And so he starts to go slowly further and further out. And then what if he comes under their encampment and burns it down?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the twist. What if he's one of the marauders? What if he's one of the guys that he's seeing? And that's why every night that he goes out a little bit further, he's seeing that flame. And it's his flame.
So he gets lost and
no, it's like a play on your psychosis of thinking that you're protecting when you're the one hurting somebody.
Mm. So
he's going further and further away from his job.
Right.
Right? But also he's chasing himself in this? Is that too like
I feel
psycho? Like as far as like
too
psycho.
Hold on to that because you have to make sense of why he's on that ridge and not just wait for them in town.
It's to capture them before they get to town because they have more numbers. So he's trying to pick them off on the way into town. He has the high ground,
right.
And when they're in town, they burn the establishments down.
Right.
So he's trying to pull some Dragon Ball Z shit and take, Majin Buu outside of city limits so he doesn't destroy a fucking entire city. Because they've already lost so much. And that's why people are leaving, and that's what the urgency is that he's trying to stop this problem before it gets there.
Right.
And they're so brash and bold because they're like, there's 13, 14, 20 of us. And there's one or two of you, and we killed one of y'all last week. So they're coming the exact same pathway every single time. And so he's like, if I can catch them before they get here, get into an optimum spot to be able to pop at them, you feel me? I got rounds. Mm-hmm. We did have a jail cell with, over 1,000 rounds in there. I can make this happen, and I'm a good shot.
Right.
And so he's posted out there expecting to see them come and be able to get a few each time. Because the town is leaving, and he knows he's in a losing battle. So what if he's not even like trying to face this nigga straight up? What if he's trying to face him like a sniper? And he's hidden the entire time.
I can see that.
Because he's like, if I go straight out with them, I know they have over 20 people, and I'm a good shot, but when they're on horseback, and it's the middle of the night, and, you feel me, you're going up canyons, going down canyons, you can't always predict where they're going to be. And once you hear that, pew, everybody scatters. The lights dry up, and then now I'm sitting in the dark with 20 people looking for me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's taking calculated shots. Maybe he's setting up, like, traps and shit, too. Like barbed wire, like, at ankle level for a horse.
Yeah, but since it's all flat, it would be visible.
It would be, but I'm trying to think what region. This has to be like old school, like cowboy shit. So there would be cactuses, yeah.
I would think so.
Cactuses, you have those real, like dead looking ass trees that are just always there and not dying.
Yeah.
So if you're coming in at night and you have a flat surface, you can definitely tie up some string or some. Did they have barbed wire in the 1800s? I know they had metal string. I know they had that much at least.
Yeah, I think they had barbed wire for sure.
So if they had barbed wire, you set that up at ankle or knee height for a horse to stop him, and he's like, "Oh, here they come! I got him." This he's trying to defend his town, but he's also making travel shit for anybody that wants to go into that region. Mm. So that's why I wanted to turn it around to where he was the problem, is because now he's doing more bad than he's doing good.
Yeah, I feel like the addition of the city is, I feel like it's overcomplicating things.
How do you mean?
As in, it was a thing for people to just dip, everybody go. Mm-hmm. If there, some people are Indians are charging, people that are robbing
engines.
Yeah, if they're coming, we leave. If they want this shit, they can have it. We can rebuild somewhere else. We can be added to somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like,
so what if it's just a man who lost something and he's like, I'm gonna die making sure that they pay for this? But then that's just every other Western.
But what you're explaining is every other Western as well.
A man defending his city?
Yes, that's everything.
Name me one Western, Joseph.
Every John Wayne movie ever.
Name
the
me
good,
one.
the bad, the ugly. There's one.
Oh, he was defending.
There's one though.
He was defending a woman.
But there's one though.
Yeah, there is one.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you want to, you can take it either way. But I feel like that's overcomplicating it. But we can rock with that. So he can be on the ridge and booby traps set up a gunshot just so it seems like more people than one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Since he's by himself. Or even the nigga from the north is an insurgent. And maybe not that many people have left from the town, so I can still reap. It still has something of value there. You know what I mean? Maybe they did it a couple times. They ran into the city a couple times. First to scout, then to cut the head off the snake, and then take the rest. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, if it's like 5-6 times, they're not doing their fucking job very well. These bandits, or so-called bandits, if they're not taking everything at one time and then moving on to the next. You know what I mean? I feel like some people spotted them. They're taking cattle and shit like that. And then the sheriff got shot in a shootout trying to stop them from taking more cattle their second time around. And then now is there like, we're going to fucking take this town. Who's with me? And then 20 niggas is like, hoorah, nigga, let's go. And he's there, just buried the sheriff, and he's like, I'm going to fucking defend this town. You know what I mean? And the nigga from the north seen these people, or somebody's seen these people. They come down this ridge every fucking time. I live on the outskirts of town. I see them ride in every fucking time, and you'll see them there. So he sets up booby traps. Not just barbed wire, but like guns to go off. Just one shot, just so they'll look this way while he's got the...
Because a gunshot in the middle of the night will definitely make you stop your horse and look in that direction.
Yeah.
And that's all it needs is that moment for you to not be moving.
And everybody's going by the moonlight. So everybody sees the same shit.
Yeah, you see a flash of light and you're like, ooh.
Yeah, he's this way. Everybody, you know what I mean? You two cut this way while I cut this way. Mm-hmm. And while he's hitting heads, bah. And then then he'll move backwards as they're coming forward. You know what I mean? Because they have to then go up to go into the town. So if they're on a ridge,
and that was the whole thing in the beginning, is that he was the one that was seeing this.
Yeah,
and so he was seeing them come over that ridge, and so he was able to tell what pathway they were going.
Right.
Because
if they're coming from here and they're going into a bowl and then up a ridge and then down into it again.
But it's going in descending fashion like the singular tower, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's coming from a higher place, and then you see them, they drop, they disappear, they drop, they disappear, and then he's waiting for that second appear, and it doesn't happen. And so when he's checking it out, he's seeing that there is people out there. But again, you know, he knows he's the last person defending this shit. And if you're saying the town hasn't been deserted, then he knows there's children and women there still.
Yeah, because that would make more sense in the part of, so he would, now he has something to fight for instead of you're fighting over breadcrumbs now.
It was more of him fighting for the sheriff when I was saying it. It was more like, he's like, I got to hold it down. This nigga died. And the people that are still there, the only people that are still there are the people that were down for him, which isn't a lot. And so it's like, I already lost the sheriff. And now the people that, you know, were down for me the hardest are getting ready to leave if I can't hold this shit down. But your story, your idea works better because then there's a full pot of gold for these bandits. Yeah. It's not us just taking over a town. Because they're going to take over, they kill him, they take over the town. Yeah. They just live there.
Yeah, and especially, it feels like a pride-based story because my fans are here. I got to show my ass. Where was this fight when they first came?
It was a pride more, no, not pride, it was a vengefulness of him to know that he couldn't beat them straight up, so he was like, or beat them. Because at the end of the day, let's be real. If there's 20 people, 25 dudes that got nothing better to do but to make it to your town, somebody's probably going to make it at that town. Right. You know what I mean? Let's just be real. Not everybody's John Wayne. I'm going to say Gacy at the end of that. Yeah. But not everybody's John Wayne, right? Right. So, you know, you're probably going to get smoked. But it's the I need to avenge the death of... And I don't even know what the sheriff is then. The sheriff might not even be anybody he knows like that. It could just be that the fact that he was trying to become a lawman and the sheriff gets popped and he's like, that was the last line of defense. I guess I'm it. And then that's when he starts posting about there. But go back to the beginning. I'm thinking you have a good like 15 minutes with the sheriff in there before he gets killed.
Maybe the nigga's not a sheriff at all or a deputy. He just he had admiration for them in defense of his town. You know what I'm saying?
How's he so good with the gun?
Everybody had a fucking gun.
That is a big misnomer. Not everybody had a gun.
Everybody had a gun.
They were extremely hard to come by in the Wild West. Dog. That's why everybody was able to get got unless you came from money.
If you had a farm, you had a gun.
No, not always.
Yeah. How would you protect against coyotes?
Because, bro, like what it is you got one thing from a person as you like left the area you came from. Right. So the further you got out, that's why so many raids happen with the Indians and the
Right. So since you want to make this so like non-fictional, why doesn't he just go toward the fucking marshals and get help? But
then he's got to leave the whole thing. The whole thing is him sticking down right outside of town and waiting for him to show up.
But he's outside of town. Yeah. If somebody screams, he's a horse ride away, 20 minutes of a ride?
Oh, yeah, you don't hear nobody scream for 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
By horse?
Even if since you're outside of town.
Well, I mean, we're not trying to break down the story. What we're trying to do
is... we're adding to it, right? Yeah. But you just said... Not everybody has a fucking gun.
Not everybody does have a gun.
I know, but you're making it nonfiction now. Now, if we're talking about, if we're going to use facts, or we're going to just make a fucking story.
That's what I'm saying is nobody else is a part of this story outside of the nigga that comes from the north. Right. The bandits.
Exactly.
And homeboy who takes up after the sheriff.
Right.
So we can tweak their stories, but nobody else is going to come out with guns.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy who's fighting for everybody. What if he's not even a fucking sheriff at all or a deputy? What if he saw them die before his eyes?
He can have a gun.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm saying it as far as like we don't even know what he is going to be now, because if he's not what I thought he was going to be, now we have to make him somebody else. And then how does he have? Like, I get having a gun. I get having a gun. Right. There's a lot of people that walk out of their house and go, "Get out of here!" and just shoot at the sky. They can't hit you from fucking 100 yards away on a horse. Okay. So the whole reasoning was
booby traps. Booby traps.
Then he doesn't have a gun. Then
okay, he don't have to have a fucking gun.
Maybe he takes up the gun from the sheriff, right? You know, and then everybody in town is like, no lawman in town. Wonder what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And
Who's going to... Everybody wants to have a fucking leader. Nobody's going to stand up until...
Why does he take the mantle then?
Because he saw them and looked up to them. That's what he wanted to be.
How old is he, do you think?
I want to say...
23?
Mid-20s, yeah.
23 sounds about right?
Yeah. And he's like, that's what I want him to be. That's what... You know what I mean? If you see a nigga pushing his car, and everybody's passing him up, would you help him push his car?
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. It just takes a fucking moment to be a hero. You know what I mean? You don't want shit back. Nigga didn't give you $5. Thanks, man.
I mean, your car is dead. You know, you definitely aren't
but
on all the way of the monies.
For sure. But 130 people that just passed him up were just like, fuck that guy.
And a Tesla just went right around him hella quick.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, that adds to why he wouldn't just get fucking help. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the distance, and on top of that, like he's like, I'm tied to this town because I'm the only nigga who's gonna defend it. Nobody's gonna leave their house at night.
Yeah.
There's like what do you call that shit? Like a curfew, but it's not even like mandated. People are just like, at this time of night, we all hunker down, lock our doors, and hope they don't show up tonight.
Yeah.
And he's the one outside, like, but for the psychosis part, if he's out there, maybe when he unravels is when he kills somebody for the first time.
Yeah, yeah. And that he's not even fucking experienced like that. He thought he could be that nigga.
Yeah. And he does it really sloppy the first time.
Yeah.
And the dude suffers and is crying, and then he has to stab him hella times because he didn't know where, like...
Like, they sent out a census of a few times that they went into the town. Mm-hmm. They sent out another scout because they're about to... We got to make sure we got enough people. Take everything. They might have changed some shit up. So let's see their defenses now. They send somebody in. And he murders this nigga, like... And he gets fucked up, too. But he, like...
Trips over one of his own booby traps and shit.
Yeah, and like lets the gun go off and baps nigga in the hamstring. You know what I mean? And he just like, oh shit, he falls off and that nigga's taking out his gun, but he can't see him clearly because it's at night. He's on the ground like...
And a flash of light at night, you don't see shit after that, nigga. Yeah.
That nigga completely could have just juked to the right and would have been gone.
Hello?
Yeah.
And you're just like, nigga, you're in the desert.
So he's belly down, ass up. Like, knocked the wind out of himself from tripping over his own barbed wire. This nigga's just like, oh shit, I'm shot. I'm going to turn around. But the horse gets spooked. He falls off the fucking horse. And this nigga just like is looking for the guy. And he's trying to shoot him again, but his gun jams.
23, has shot a gun 4 times in his life.
Yeah.
But he can run wire. He can run barbed wire.
Yeah.
He's not a fencer. Like just a farmhand.
Yeah, a farmhand. There you go.
Because them niggas are all Clark Kents. Yeah. They all want to save the day, and they read, that they can be a hero, and then they're physically stronger than most people.
Yeah.
So a grappling match with somebody who's been doing nothing but making fences for the last 20 years of his life, it's going to be real hard when he's been shot in the fucking leg.
Exactly. And it was just messy. And
he just chokes him to death?
Brock shoots him in the face, maybe. Whatever you want.
Bang his head against some shit.
Yeah, there you go.
And doesn't understand that there's a rock behind it that's pointed.
Yeah.
Whole shit. But he lifts up and he hears blood coming out of his skull.
But he keeps doing it though because the adrenaline. Because that nigga, maybe at some point in time, he gets close to him and he's trying to wrestle the nigga, and the nigga just hits the nigga with the elbow right across our protagonist's face, and he feels like warm gush slide down his face, and the nigga tries to bite his cheek or some shit like that, and he throws a fucking headbutt, and it's like a nasty ass first fight.
Yeah, and it's in the high desert
under the moon, pale moonlight.
So you could fall over a cactus.
Yeah,
you could fuck around, fall into a sharp rock. Or you're just like, you could fall down a fucking little steep hill.
Yeah.
Them bitches don't have real paved roads. It's just...
Also scorpions. I had a dream about scorpions too last night. And then nigga just murders this nigga. Like, and he's shaking. But that gives him his stripes. But also, he's now in a different mind frame onto what this really is.
And he's like, that was one dude who was confused?
Yeah.
What if there's 20 people?
They said that, and then he's just like, I can't fuck. And then it's like a existential crisis.
Of figuring out whether you can do what you set out to do?
Yeah, I promise this. My fucking little sister's at home, nigga. Like,
alone, because I'm here.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and I've cut myself on my own trap.
Yeah.
Knocked the air out myself. Got cut open by a fucking elbow. Who throws elbows?
Yeah. I mean,
and
then I had to headbutt this nigga. My nose is almost broken. I'm bleeding from that. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm fucked up. And I just killed a guy. I murdered this guy.
And then he stumbles back to his little camp to like gauze himself up.
Yeah.
Doesn't even hide the body.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the road. So the bandits come back and take that as a sign of like, take your trash with you. Mm. And so
the first sign is the horse running back to their camp.
Yeah.
He's like, where's Emmett? He's just like,
and then Emmett just
and they see blood on the horse and shit.
Yeah, and they're like, I heard gunshots last night. I thought Emmett was just having fun in town. He was like, should we have sent more people? He's like, no, we killed the sheriff. Who else is there?
Yeah.
There's probably some random person shooting out of their house. We'll go show them why not to do that.
Yeah.
And so the real question is then why aren't they all heading out the mat like right off top?
That shows their hesitancy because Emmett's
Are they
dead.
attacking multiple places at once?
I would say this is their step into a bigger city. So this is like a warm up for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's just like, all right, we knocked this place over. It's not supposed to be this many times, but you know what I mean? We did what we had to do. We get a better plan in a bigger place. You know what I mean? Now, after we knock over this place and empty them of cash and take some hose and shit, we can, we recuperate, rebuild our numbers, and then go into a bigger place.
There's a few people in that town that would come with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if their family's lives are on the line. Mm-hmm. Because that definitely has to be a storyline of somebody who was fucking cartel shit when they're just like, you're going to work for El Chapo. Everything. And he's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, do you like your kids?
Yeah.
You fancy your wife?
Exactly.
And you're like, ugh.
Lupe Fiasco's Little Weapon was about child soldiers. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you can get anybody with the right incentive to do anything you'd like.
Yeah, when people say, I could never kill, I'm like, I could kill in this mind state.
Yeah. And I'm quite
sane.
I have a couple jobs and I'm holding down the house. Nigga, I'm here. But I'm killing
There's
nigga.
a situation where I'm like, I'd kill you for that. Yeah. That's what he's coming to grips with. Yeah. Is that he had the capacity when he always thought he was supposed to protect. And when people think protect, they don't think kill all the time.
And it's romanticized.
Yeah.
It's romanticized, bro. You see the sheriff wearing this big-ass golden star on his chest. The deputy right there squeezing butt cheeks.
Everybody just being beer. Like coming in, like giving him like apples as he walks past.
The respect of the man in power. That's what he really romanticizes. That's what he wants. He's a fucking farmhand.
And the stoicness of a hero after a battle. And he's like, like shaking and trembling after just murdering somebody that was going to kill him.
And I want it to be all physical like action.
Yeah, let's take the guns out of the scenario because then it becomes American Sniper, but in the 1800s. Well, where like he has to deal with like death from a distance.
Well, since he's not a good shot from far away, all his shit has to be straight up.
So it's revolver shit.
Yeah.
Off the hip.
That's
while
why
you're on a horse.
The nigga fell on his belly and shot a nigga in the leg. He didn't even purposely do that. It was kind of, he tried to, hey, stop! And then like while he was walking forward and knocked his head off.
It'd be funny to me, but it's not funny in real life. Yeah. But it'd be funny to me if he went to go shoot him and shot the horse on accident.
Oh, yeah. And the horse was like, here,
and then falls down, and then so it like
knocks him off the horse.
It knocks him off the horse, kind of dazes homeboy, and then they get into the scrap, and then homeboy starts to man up on him because he's older than him.
Yeah.
He's like, what you doing, little boy?
And nastier.
Yeah. And he's willing to do shit because he's been in these situations before.
Hence the elbow, hence the try to bite his face.
Exactly. With his and he just like, woo, smell the tobacco and asshole on your breath.
Yeah.
And so he pulls back. When he pulls back, he pushes him off him, trips on the barbed wire, knocks the air out of himself. It's dark at night. Homeboy is kind of like fucked up still from falling off the horse, he gets clipped by the bullet, maybe. Because remember when I was talking about it'd be hella funny if you had your little gun and then you shot and hurt your wrist and never shot the person that you were trying to shoot?
Yeah.
That is so funny to me because you hold a position of power and to lose it in literally the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And now I don't have the gun in my hand and my wrist. I don't know if it's broken or sprained.
Yeah.
But I know this motion ain't going to be happening tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to use the other hand. And I'm not good with my left hand. I can't even jack with my left hand. You feel me? So it's so funny, but it's so realistic because you see that movie when people are like, well, one hand. And you're like, you're 18. Have you ever shot a gun? Do you know the recoil on that bitch?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure the recoil on older guns was heavier.
Yeah.
Because they used straight up gunpowder.
I mean, every bullet has gunpowder.
But they were stuffing it though, right?
Oh no, that was like 1400s.
Damn, I'm off by that much.
Yeah, dude.
I thought the Civil War they were like stuffing shit in the Civil War.
That was not 1800s.
That was like what, the 17s?
That was like 1400s.
No, because
1776
is when the country became to be. I did not say real words right there, but pump action.
No.
What's that called? Winchester.
Winchester was an automatic, rifle. All you gotta do is cock that bitch, and it didn't have shit to do with gunpowder.
Shit. Because I could have swore niggas were stuffing BBs in the barrels when they were shooting at the North and the South and shit.
Yeah, during the Civil War for sure.
I don't even know when the Civil War was.
Yeah.
It had to be after the country was formed, right?
For sure. It had to be. Yeah. No. It was because of slavery and shit.
But the country had to be formed for us to divide, to fight over that.
Yeah.
So it had to be after 1776, right?
I'm pretty sure that was because
I'm not great, but I know it's 1770 something.
Yeah.
Right around that time is when we became a country.
Yeah.
But we've been at war since this bitch started, so. If it's not the natives, it's fucking us. If it's not us, it's whoever the fuck else. Okay, so. Let's round this bitch out and end it. I want him to be captured.
Okay.
Fuck up on some shit, be captured. He's maybe killed 2 or 3 more. But he's getting better at it because he's setting it up to where he's leading people to like off of gorges or like off of places to where it's like, what's over here? And then a gun draws, the horse gets spooked. And he's like, he's trying to refine the way that he got the first guy, but without the fuck ups.
Yeah.
And eventually it's just like, people are like, okay, we can't send 2 or 3 people. We got to send more. And they set him up. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking some Home Alone shit.
That's what this whole shit is. It's him Home Aloneing the whole like north section of the tracks to be able to get people before they get to the town.
And I feel like the booby traps take out a couple of these niggas. Because after the horse comes back or they find the horse or they find the body, they're going to be like, they have more people here.
Yeah.
Because we just murdered both of these niggas. Yeah. So we got to be more cautious. You know what I mean? And
they think they got the marshals or somebody coming in to help.
Exactly. So that would make sense as to them trickling in instead of just rushing.
Yeah, because it's like, we don't know, and they got the high ground.
Yeah.
Because literally, you come into town on kind of an incline after coming down from the lowest peak on the other end. So I can see you for a good 15 minutes before you get to me, 10 minutes. And especially if you're riding at night and you need light.
Yeah, and he's like chucking dynamite into this flat land. And he's just blowing niggas the fuck up. I want like real fucking blood and guts. And then
what if he's setting dynamite into like cactuses?
Yeah.
And so like not only is it blowing up and fucking shit up, but like if you do survive, Got a billion little pricklies in you.
Also, you can't hear.
Can't hear. Can't really see. Your horse is probably on top of you. And or, like, killed you on the way off. Because horses can do a full jump to their back and then just get up and go home.
Yeah.
The nigga on their back is dead, though.
Yeah. And he comes, like, after, like, the 6 or 7, like, dynamite blows. Then he comes out the revolver, trying to shoot the niggas that are still alive. He gets shot.
That's what it could be. That's where he mans up, is when he's catching them slipping, like, kind of alive.
Yeah.
And then he starts getting bold at the end and not killing them as fast as he should.
Exactly. And so he's like, kind of now he's in the full insanity of him just like he's getting satisfactory out of this. Out of every nigga he stands over and just blows their fucking brain out. Because he knows he's not a good shot from far away, but...
He's like, I put this muzzle to your mouth, though.
Yeah, a foot away, then niggas, he's a surgeon with this shit. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what about this? What if every time he kills somebody, he takes like an article of their clothing? And he doesn't die at the end. What if he takes over this shit?
No, he doesn't die. But, he takes over the bandits?
Yeah, I wanted him to die initially. Like, get caught and be brought to the bandits and be like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, I'm the farmhand. Bow! And then, like, he just, it's corny. But it'd be even funnier is if they allow him to come back in with the horse. Because they look at the clothes and they're like, it's one of us. That's fucking Willem, bro. That's Willem. You don't know Defoe? Willem. He's on his way. And then that's where, like, that epic ending of the movie comes where, like, they're just like, Willem, what's wrong? And he, like, lifts up his head and you just see a flash of a rifle or a revolver.
Yeah.
Bow. And then he's just shooting on while he's on the horse. And it's stuff made of legends.
Yeah.
But he's just as scared as everybody else. But he's been living in fear and not sleeping, so he's delusional as shit.
That makes sense, man. Like, maybe they don't find the body, they just find the horse. And he's just like, he's gone. Like, what happened to him? And then the nigga's naked as fuck, buried a foot under the ground.
What if he's taking their clothes and hanging them on cactuses?
Taking their clothes?
Yeah, like taking what he wants from them and then hanging them up on a cactus, kind of like how...
like a scarecrow?
Yeah, like how the Europeans did it for the Native Americans when they got there. They cut off a head and put it on a pike, like, this ain't your land. This ain't your area. You come here, this is what happens to you. Mm. And so there's like, this can't be lawmen. Marshals don't do this.
But I feel like the amount of figuring it out and giving time between this is nothing.
How many niggas is he gonna kill before he goes to there?
Goes to where?
He's clearly encroaching upon where they're coming from each time and setting up a little further out of town. Because you got to think he's setting up on a trailway from the north, right. And when he catches first homeboy, gun goes off, he catches him, horse gets knocked over, right. All that shit happens. He's gonna be like, okay, he's coming from this path. So the next day he sets up 100 yards past that point, waiting for the next dude.
I believe he just holds his ground there, and then sets more traps inland, but doesn't move from where he was at. Because the farther you away from them, the more advantage you have. You get closer to them.
So he's setting up traps and they're falling into him, and he's nowhere near them.
He's nowhere near them.
And so he's not
and he's in the clothing of the nigga he killed.
And so he's not even so people are making legends out of shit that never happened.
Yeah.
Like when they're finding him, they're like, he ripped the flesh off the body. He's like, nah, bro, just fell into a cactus patch.
Yeah, that's what usually happens. People, you add more into something.
Yeah, you embellish. Okay. All right, so he's gotten, let's say, 6 or 7 people in the course of 4 days?
See, that's the thing. It wouldn't make sense for it to be so long in between without them just running in.
Well, but that's the whole thing, is that they only come at night because it's a very obvious scene in the middle of the day. And like you said, once they realize that the sheriff and deputy were killed, they're like, right. They've got other people here.
Right.
And so they're using the cloak of night, and they're like, and they're sending people in that don't look like bandits, is what it is.
Mm. But they're still getting killed.
Yeah. They're still getting killed because, like, you know, you everybody knows in this region don't come down the North Pass. Like, everybody knows that.
Right.
So if you're coming on this pass, it's because you got the balls of a bandit. And so that's what he's taking it as. He might have killed a few innocent niggas. How do you feel about that? Like, his delusion, like, he goes to search through their shit and they don't have a gun. They just got hella, like, goods.
Yeah. And he just murders the fuck out of them.
Well, no, like, the whole point of, like, maybe they do have a gun, but, like you said, back in the day, you could be going to go get a water from the watering hole and get your ass popped.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it to where, like, the him being disillusioned and sleep deprived and all this weighs in on his decisions rather than makes him a hero. You know what I mean? Because he was already a hero for stepping up when the lawman died.
Well, some of them would look at him as a fool. You know what I mean? Not everybody thinks of you as a hero because you stand up. You stand up to a nigga in front of your girl. She don't think you're stupid. And why would you gamble so much at this point in time? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some people think of you as a fool, not the hero all the time.
Okay. So he's robbing their clothes. Gets back to... Does he just say fuck it and he's like, I gotta go find them? I can't just have them trickling in for the rest of my life?
Well, we can just change in the trickle, and because I personally wouldn't go towards them, I'd let them come to me. You know what I mean?
Okay, so like here we go. Then what about this? He's sitting at the top of the ridge, waiting with his revolver, and just posted, and he can see he's doing the same setup, essentially, different parts on the prairie or wherever they're at. So he's seeing a gun go off. Seeing a gun go off far to the left. Seeing a gun going off. So he's seeing that they're hitting his traps, or he's hearing a horse like, and like hearing falling. He's hearing screaming, and then he slowly goes out to kill them after. How do you like that? Like him being like, let me let you bleed out and worry for a while.
Yeah, I like that.
Because then he would just be ping-ponging around this bitch because if two of them go off at the same time, but that gives all of them that hesitation to go forward. When they're like, I just saw somebody shoot at him from that bush, and they unload all their shit into a bush, and then a few of them are cowards and run off. And so, like, those numbers, when that happens, they're like, man, there's too many people here. There's too much. Let's just skip over this town. How would you feel if, like, this happened in, like, 2 days, and he dies from gangrene from tripping on his own shit? From that first encounter, he didn't completely clean it.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, like they sent in one, then they sent in two. Nobody comes back, and they're like, we're just gonna rush these niggas. I know they can't have that many. I know they don't have 20 marshals in that fucking town.
Yeah.
And so they run it, and a good half of them die on the way in or get marred and, fucked up to the point where the other few are kind of like fading away. Mm-hmm. And you get like a legend out of a man that dies the second they hit the ridge and run away. But the town is safe.
Maybe he doesn't die. Maybe he just loses his leg and, you know what I mean? Completely.
How would he get back to town? He's been sitting outside not tending to it for days, trying to defend off these niggas.
Horse. So to get back to town.
He doesn't have a horse, does he?
Yeah, of course. How do you walk out there?
Well, I mean, like,
with the supplies.
Have you never seen fucking Lord of the Rings? You can just get off and say, "It was not talking to you, pops," and then the niggas would just find their way home.
I know, but how do you get the booby trap stuff out there then?
You're reading too much into it, Joseph.
I mean.
Okay, well, but that's the thing. How long before his horse gets caught up? Because if niggas are popping at you and you're in hard ass skirmishes, all these guns going off in random places are gonna scare a horse that ain't a.
Oh, but you wouldn't have the horse next to you.
I mean, you can't have the horse next to you if you're trying to hide.
Yeah, exactly. The nigga's, 8 feet tall?
So the horse is by his camp, which is closer to town.
Yeah.
and he's gone about half a mile to a mile away from that. That way, if anything,
or even less, but it's a good jogging distance for him. He can run to that bitch.
He could not even notice with the adrenaline for the first few hours that he even has a cut.
Yeah. Or first he tends to it.
Okay, so then the story ends with one of the bandits spreading a story of like the nigga who limps. You know what I mean? Because at the end of it, he's completely taken on the mantle of hero. Yeah. He's taken on the mantle of sheriff, deputy, lawman, whatever you want to call it. But he's for sure like on the downward spiral as far as that leg goes. You don't know how it ends. It could end like an old school Western where you just see him riding into town and his head shuffling, but he doesn't fall off the horse.
Yeah.
But when it pans down to the ground, you see that he's still bleeding. And you're like, he never really got shot. He got punched. He cut open his head a few times, but none of those were life-ending wounds. It's just one on his fucking calf muscle when he got pushed over his own barbed wire when he was fighting this nigga. And that's what normally gets you in like those scenarios. Gangrenous? Yeah, cutting your toe on something and stepping in the wrong water or just not cleaning it before it gets bad. How do you feel about that?
I'm thinking the dynamite thing works and he picks off as many people as he can. And since he's on that ridge, when he sees the right amount of people go past him, like, this should be, I can pick off these people if they pass me and their backs are to me. I could stand up and start shooting. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He lets, out of the 20 people that were there, he kills 8. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the 12 go past him, and he stands up to shoot, and he ran out of bullets, and they run into town. Right? And then he's just watching it like, I was so close to fucking stopping this. And this is, you know what I mean? Some more existential shit. And goes in town and he hears just bullets flying. Smoke come up and he rides back into town. And then the town has killed the bandits. They have overcome. They didn't need a fucking hero. There were heroes in there that whole fucking time. They're not just destitute people.
For sure, his sister or his niece or sister could have been in there like, my brother's out there defending this town. We need to at least get our guns to the front of the town. And they're just like, that's not our problem. We can leave. Like, you think I care about this farm and you worry about my kids? And she's like, they'll destroy the farm and your kids. Yeah. You need to stand up like my brother is. And he's like, we haven't seen him in days. He's probably dead. And she's like, I know he's not dead. You hear the guns at night?
You hear that dynamite and shit like that? Like, you think that's just him just fucking around? And her mom just like, watch your language, Leslie.
Get off me, Martha.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And they're just like, all right. But that scene is left with an indecision. They're just like, yeah, I don't know, man. Fuck. I got a 3-piece suit on. And then they ride into town just like, you know what I mean? Maybe one dude turns around and shoots him in the chest, our protagonist in the chest, and he drops and he's staring at the sun and closes his eyes. And then that cuts to that argument, you know what I mean? While they're riding in at this exact same time. And as they ride in, their decision was made, and it is to defend the town as well.
And they're smoking niggas as they're coming in.
Yeah.
They start to break ranks.
And they're on higher, and they're driving right through the town, and the niggas getting popped.
Yeah, there's nobody on the streets besides them, so they're just fish in a barrel at this point.
And then it cuts to our protagonist
getting onto the horse.
His eyes open, and the horse is over him, just like wiggling his lips.
Oh, Lord of the Rings blood.
And he just
like fix him up.
He's like, goddamn. And maybe he doesn't hop onto him because, you know, he has one lung now and he's trying to.
It could be like through the shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, maybe didn't hit any arteries or nothing, you know. Because if we're doing it like this, a nigga who doesn't know how to shoot guns and is setting up barbed wire in the middle of the night is probably not going to beat 20 niggas. But he didn't, though. He beat 8 niggas.
He beat 8 niggas, not 20. And he set off a lot of fucking dynamite. And
it had these people... It gave them enough time for the town to trust in themselves to defend themselves.
Courage. Gave them courage, you feel me?
And it gave the town courage to see him go out there alone against an army.
And then as he's, like, coming in, he's just like, damn, nigga, like...
He sees, like, little small fires, and he's like, no.
And he sees it from a distance, too. He sees it from a distance, too. The smoke going up. And just, like, his sister with fucking 2 revolvers. And, like, the Mexican bullets across her chest. And he's just like, I've been waiting for you, big bro. And he's like, bitch, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Give me a Band-Aid, nigga. And then falls off the horse.
And he's just like, and then they, like, give her the star and then him the deputy. Give the little girl the star, bro. And then, gives him the star and then he puts the deputy hat on her. And then they're like...
This would be hella fucked up, but this is right up our lane. And I want to change it, but this would be right up our lane. If for him to be in bed and her giving him water, and like he's all like patched up and shit. And then she's like, I believe this is yours, and hands him the sheriff's badge. And he's like, you made a whole town brave enough to fight bandits. This is yours. Hands it back to her, right?
Yeah.
And then she's just like, I couldn't. And he's like, you already did. You know that thirsty? Just drink water, though. You feel me?
Gulp.
It's coming right out his wound like comics and shit.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you did the sheriff proud. And then she's just like, and then you hear a knock on the door and the doctor's just like, can I speak to you for a second? And then she's like, I'll be right back. Goes outside. She's like, I can't find the bullet and it didn't go through. It'd be best you say your goodbyes now. And she's like, no, don't tell me this.
And he's like, the most important time right now while I'm talking to you is when you should be with him.
Like how they do it in movies.
But I'm taking your time up right now, although you should be with him right now.
And then he's just like, the doctor's just like, hey, just know everything he did was for a reason. This death we won't let this go unavenged. And then she's just like, whatever, nigga.
Opens the door and the nigga's turning out.
Blue. Cuz it's blue and hella stiff.
You seen Shrek 3? And that nigga, the dad, the frog, was like,
yeah.
That nigga's blue as fuck, bro. And she's just like, Jeffrey!
and it ends with like pulling back and seeing him like dead and her holding, holding the star, and then it pulls back and the whole town is outside like mourning the loss,
holding candles and shit.
Exactly, being like, this is a nigga that made us realize, we can do this shit if we all stand together and stop being pussies and relying on one man to take care of us.
Yeah, we can all take care of each other.
Exactly.
God damn it, Patrick, you done made it.
And then she comes out with his cowboy. No, just keep making it hella cheesy.
And then like cuts to 10 years later. No, I'm playing.
And then like she's sitting out there like smoking a cigarette, and then you hear the brother voice like, "So you still smoking those damn things, aren't you?" And she looks over, and this nigga is just like missing a leg, and he pulls up, and he's got like a mean ass like Ron White looking ass hair.
Yeah,
you feel me? And he's just like, let me see that damn thing, and then takes it, and then she's like, and they look out in the prairie. He's like, what you looking for? And she just like looks at him, and she's like, bandits.
Fuck.
And then it ends. We can make this as corny as we want, dog. Fuck it.
There you go. What are you gonna name it?
Man, motherfucking bandits, nigga. Oh shit. I mean, fuck. What would you call that? Action? It's definitely an action.
Yeah, of course.
A western.
Oh, yeah, spaghetti western for sure.
Spaghetti western. Flames in the Prairie. Smoke Over the Hill.
Last Stand on the Ridge.
The Last Stand on the Ridge.
Yeah.
The Last Stand on the Ridge. That sounds fucking good.
Yeah, nigga.
I like it. The Last Stand on the Ridge.
There you go.
Action, 1800s.
Yeah.
The Last Stand on the Ridge.
Yeah.
And all of those endings can be whatever the fuck you want. I remember when we used to do that in the beginning episodes. We'd have like 2 or 3.
Ending.
And now we're just like, we got 32 minutes and we gotta hit that mark. Like,
yeah.
All right. And honestly, like, the stories are more well thought out, so you don't want to deviate from what you set up for the whole fucking 40 minutes prior.
Honestly.
But
that's why I wasn't going to revert to what your original story was going to be for this.
Mm-hmm.
What we came up in my kitchen with.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let the dice roll.
Yeah, because I definitely have been thinking about it. And every time I see it, like, I give it like 10 minutes of thought. But that thought is in a whole different
direction, man.
And I'm like, I cannot find this town. Yeah. And it's like, because every time you start back up, you go in the opposite direction, man.
Yeah. Your saved game wasn't where it was supposed to be, buddy.
But
Last Stand on the Ridge.
We giving
oh yeah, Boom Bow, How You Like Me Now, Haunted Minds Anthology coming October.
Ooh.
Yo, listen. It's our series for October coming up. Like I just said, Haunted Minds Anthology. Please stay tuned for it. It's going to be weird at first. We're not going to be picking out of cups for this one. It's only ours. We're going to be hopefully dropping 2 episodes per drop date. That's Monday and Thursday. Haunted Minds Anthology for the whole month of October. It's our horror series, and I hope you guys like it. Some true crime, some goddamn witchcraft, horror, thriller.
A little bit of devil in there.
Yeah, you guys are going to really enjoy it. I swear to your Jesus.
And honestly, these stories, a lot of the times when me and Joe do director's cuts, we barely talk to each other, man.
Yeah.
And there's times that we do talk to each other, and then you guys get, a product that is more polished, and you get something that has a more well-rounded ending process, to be real, because we can give you a great concept. It's just the ending that normally, like, fucks it. You know?
Yeah, I gotta stop killing everybody.
I'm trying not to kill everybody, and I just killed my main character. So I can't say shit.
In the alternate ending,
it got super corny, and he pulls up missing a leg.
Yeah.
Which is how old times did it. The nigga was just sleeping.
Yeah. He's
already white. He got pale after losing blood. And she was like, I'm down to be the sheriff. Bury him. And they're like, he's not dead. He's not dead.
A shallow breath isn't a full breath. Fuck it.
But yeah, we got some fire coming out, and we're working on it together. And Joe has stepped his shit up. I'm going to step my shit up.
Patrick has stepped his shit up.
And we're going to blow your minds this fucking October. We're going to try to keep it scary.
To his very first director's cut, you'll see the growth. And you see the growth throughout everything. And this is going to show our growth as a team.
Like, look at Summer in Caudville compared to the East Fever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's a big difference.
Yeah.
For one, he knows how to talk into the mic. You know what I mean? So there's that.
And then on all the way through Haunted Minds Anthology. Aurora, stop calling my nigga. All right. We love you. Don't stop being creative. Our email is thescrapbookpodcast@gmail.com. I haven't said that recently, and now I'm saying it. And if you guys want to tell us a haunted story for October, we definitely won't say it because we don't want to pay you money, but we'll read that shit and tell you how we like it. We love you. Yeah. Don't stop being creative. This is your host, Jody Pratt, my fellow host, Patrick Wigfall. This is Director's Cut. We love you. Don't stop being creative.
Deuces. See you in October.